Here's CJ. Welcome back, Daily Show, on the 7th day of January. It is, you need a toboggan to get down here. We got a full studio. We got Erin, we got Jacob, and we got Joey. There we go. My screen wasn't switching. And this is a really good opportunity, especially with the new year rolling over. And it seems like that's when everybody has the couple of seconds to maybe think about or try to think about what they'd like to accomplish this year, what they'd like to learn about. And, you know, when it comes to children and when it comes to addressing and identifying trauma, or, you know, anyone really, you could be a cashier at a gas station, but you could see somebody that's in distress and maybe go out and help them, or maybe try to, you know, steer them in the right direction. And with this, another great opportunity. This is cool. How are we doing today?
Yes,
Thank
doing
you.
great.
Good.
Doing great.
Did you sled down here? Or?
Just about.
Everyone's going, CJ's so dramatic. I promise you, downtown Alton is worse than your neighborhood. Sorry. It's 22, and that's just the facts of life today, but I'm glad you made it.
Yes.
And Erin, I'm so glad to have you in studio talking about this.
you.
How did this all come about?
So, Refuge received a state grant through Safe from the Start, which focuses a lot on community collaboration and community awareness of childhood exposure to trauma. And we have been partners with Bethalto Chruch of God for years, really since we started. They've been supporters of the work that we do and have been very receptive to just conversations about children with trauma. And you know, the faith-based community in the church, most of them have children's ministries and youth ministries and are really trying to reach kids that not only come from families that maybe aren't so prevalent with complex trauma, but also trying to reach those kids that are coming from really hard places. And Bethalto Chruch of God is one of those churches that really has a heart for kids that are coming from hard places.
I love that. And before we touch on that, you know, I think, Erin, too, you know, when we think trauma, I think is a blanket statement, just in like a societal, you know, statement. Yes. I think sometimes we try to maybe pinpoint, you know, all trauma is just this certain type of trauma, but it comes in all forms, all shapes and sizes. And at Refuge, I know that you guys encounter that every day.
Yeah, and whenever I use the word complex trauma, forgive me, I sometimes don't go into description of that. That's really those traumas that can be ongoing.
Okay.
So children in homes with domestic violence, sexual abuse, physical abuse, poverty,
mental abuse, I'm sure.
where maybe there's not adequate food and sleeping, and yes, emotional abuse, all of those things. So they're typically not traumas. I don't want to minimize the one and done, because we want to help those children as well, but children who are coming from more complex.
Well, and that's good to identify, though, and a good kind of taste of what we could learn, too, coming down the pipeline, because just that statement alone, I mean, you know, you had just a great way of kind of getting that out, but we don't know that as folks that maybe don't study that or have come across that ever, or we don't realize we've come across it. And, you know, in the church setting, this is such an important place, because, you know, this is the opportunity for folks to go, no matter who, where, what, when, and why you are, to go in and be in a place of trust. And with you guys in your positions, what have you been able to see in your experiences with children that are maybe coming into church to feel love with God, and also maybe to feel safe?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, I went to Erin's fundraising banquet, and that's really where I had this light bulb moment about how trauma is not just necessarily things that I think are trauma, but, you know, regardless, you know, children who lose a parent at a young age possibly is something that could cause trauma in their life, and then they grow up to be adults, and so how do we, you know, interact with them throughout their whole life? And so, you know, we started talking to Erin about how could we as a church, you know, educate those volunteers and leaders that we have to be able to better care for all of the children and teenagers that come in on a weekly basis, because it's not just about, you know, families that maybe come on our transportation ministry, but also, you know, families that just show up every week and their parents are already with them in worship. worship. And so we want to be able to, care for the whole person.
What have you seen just within the church since going to Erin's, event and learning more about this? What have you seen, just in terms of growth, in terms of morale, when you've been able to kind of implement and start to utilize some of what you've learned from Erin and others?
Yeah, I would say, and Pastor Joey leads our youth ministry, but one of the biggest
so he's the one I'm putting the light on here.
Yeah.
You're all right. You're all right. I'm fine.
I think the biggest thing for me is the lead pastor has been, reminding people like what we see at the surface is probably not the actual issue we're dealing with.
Yeah.
What we're seeing at the surface is how they're kind of reacting based on their circumstance, but there's probably something much deeper that we need to be mindful of that's really going on.
Well, and Jacob, it brings up such a very important point, and Joey, this is where you come in, and all jokes aside, I mean, you have a very important role because, any time, and, not to make light of this, but, when I'm watching a documentary on somebody and I go, wow, what type of child, no wonder they kind of acted like this, or I can see why they had these thoughts. And you realize they had no role model, and as a young age, they had no parental figure. They, maybe were chaperoned, and that was about it. And if they had someone like, a youth group, a youth pastor, or somebody like that in the church, I mean, who knows what just that one connection to do to prevent somebody from maybe not learning the proper, tools to thrive.
Yes, and I think that's the goal here is to try to educate our leaders and help, so they can effectively reach those kids when they're coming to us. That we're not, don't have a lack of understanding when they show up and we're here to reach them, but we understand what it means to meet them where they are and try to deal with those things and help minister to those kids. And like you said, give them that leader or that resource to try to help them get past what they're facing.
And now this is where I find it really fascinating too is, how do you, all of you really is a great question for all of you, but how do you have that conversation? Because there's some adults that I know that aren't, I don't think, able to have that conversation if somebody is in crisis. It's not because they're not intelligent enough, or it's not because they're not, X, Y, or Z. It's just they don't have the training. They don't know how to identify it, and it becomes a generational issue to them where it's like, oh, it might just be X, Y, and Z from, little Johnny, or he's just not having a good day. But you know what I'm getting at here?
Yeah,
There's just
I think, too, that part of this training, the hope is that maybe it will deal with some of the trauma that maybe some of our leaders
That's
or
a good point, yes.
those that don't know they're experiencing themselves, right? And we talked about that it may cause some triggering in those that are listening. And that's kind of, I think the goal is if you can see it in yourself first, to help understand those around us.
Well, and see, that's such an important thing, too. And you see this in the rebirth of people all the time when they really go back and, maybe they're doing great and life's good on the outside and, man, look at that car and look how nice their house is, but they're struggling for a couple of years. And then they kind of break themselves down and they go and explore those traumas. They explore all those things because life's not fulfilling them yet. And just things like that could happen at the session. And, what better time to with a room full of people that know how to handle that, too, instead of doing that at home, maybe just by yourself when things could get a little bit dangerous if you're sitting at home with your thoughts alone.
Yeah. And I think one of the keys to really reaching children, youth, and even adults is that relationship. And so I think that the better we can equip people to understand the science behind trauma, like how it really changes people's brains, and how we can come in and learn about ourselves and our own responses and reactions to the behaviors that we see with children, with youth, and even with adults. Then we can more easily build that relationship. And that's when those conversations come that people maybe are sharing things that, you can help address, if that makes sense.
Well, and a part of this training that's coming up on January the 11th from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. So you're going to be you're going to be learning, and that's a really good way to do this. It's not going to be an hour where you just get a little bit of an overview. I mean, you're going to have some exploring to do. You're going to be there, Erin, and also another guest speaker, Angie Darden, is going to be with you. Fill me in on what she'll be talking about.
Yeah, so Angie works at Refuge as well, and she is our community educator. And so she's really going to go into kind of the science behind how trauma literally impacts children's brain development and how early childhood is the most critical time of development and the time period when the brain actually develops the most rapidly. And so we're going to take a look at how those adverse childhood experiences really impact that brain development. But then also she'll go into what are the protective factors to that. And there's a research study called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, which is a groundbreaking study that really shows the impact early childhood trauma has on later adulthood issues like health. An increase of people with health concerns, cancer, alcoholism, heart disease. And so we'll go into the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study to help people really understand that it is deeper than the behaviors that we're seeing.
So important. And we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and chat a little bit more about this. We'll talk refuge because I haven't had you on the show in a little bit. Where have you been?
I know.
And then we'll also talk about the church and ways that we can be involved as well. The time is 10:24 on the 7th day of January. It's 20 degrees in downtown Alton. That temperature keeps dropping. Stay inside today if you don't have to drive. Hot chocolate, coffee it, and call it a good old day and keep watching our daily show right here on Roku TV and RiverBender.com.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
I had an amazing experience with Dr. Haug and her team. I came here when I was 10 years old to get my braces on. Now I'm 28 years old, braces off, and I get so many compliments on my smile. It's helped me thrive in my career as a news reporter, and also as Miss Missouri USA, I took the stage with confidence, knowing my smile was gonna make me look like $1,000,000. I've never felt better and more confident because of my smile.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back. Told you the best part of the show happens during the break, but I'd also have no audience. With that being said, we're back with Erin, Jacob, and Joey. Erin with Refuge, and then over there, Jacob and Joey with the Bethalto Church of God. Before we dive back into the training opportunity coming up, Erin, how's Refuge been? I haven't seen you in a while.
Refuge has been good.
You've been busy is what happened.
Yes, we are busy, but we're really looking forward to this year. This is our 10th anniversary of serving.
Are you serious?
Children 2025, and
That's
so
awesome.
we are so grateful and thankful to be a part of this community that has made this possible.
Well, and what I just, overview, just kind of topical thing, but, I've had, the mental health, Madison County Mental Health Board on, and talking about some of the mental health training they're doing for some of the school districts now, like I believe it was East Alton and some of the others. In the 10 years Refuge has been open, what's it like to kind of see, some of these things start to take place? I mean, it's slower than I'm sure we'd all like to see it happen, but it's still got to be interesting to see the growth. What are your takeaways just on the mental health scene and supporting children overall the last 10 years?
Yeah, I think that we have come a long way, and I'm just so grateful that mental health, though there's still stigma, is a lot more talked about than it was even 10 years ago. And so this community, I feel like really embraces.
I do too. Yeah, that's true.
Really embraces.
It's not a patronizing statement. You're right, because we say that sometimes just to say it, but you're right. I mean, this is 100% honest. They do.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of really, really good services. We are extremely blessed and fortunate in this community.
So how do you feel about this, Erin? And Jacob, Joey, you can weigh in too. I told some county leadership a couple months ago, I said, how great would it be if instead of, I get there's all this potential money, we take some of that and we just promote all the nonprofit services that are out there for 6 months. I don't care who it is or what it is, just give them like a couple thousand, and let's make sure people know about this, because half the time people just don't know the services are there for them,
Right.
And I'm sure in church too, when folks are talking to you and you're having conversations with parents and parishioners and children, it's, you have these things going, man, I wish there was something out there, and then you call Erin or you take a quick look and there it is,
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I do think that this area is really blessed. My wife and I have been here since 2021.
Okay.
And so just the last 4 years, and getting.
Where'd you come from, if it's okay?
We pastored up by Taylorville, Illinois.
Okay.
So kind of more central.
So still in the Buzz Magazine area.
Yeah.
Okay, just that's for our audience. That was an inside joke.
Okay. I was like, I don't know Buzz Magazine. Okay.
Don't say that. Don't say that. He knows Buzz Magazine.
But anyway, in coming down here, I got to know Erin's organization, then realized that was part of a larger RiverBend Family Ministries, which is a really
wonderful,
unique opportunity. And there's so many resources in this area, and having them all under that one roof in RiverBend Family Ministries is awesome. And then I know there's so many others, but this area is blessed in that way.
Well, and this is what I just think is incredible, is the fact that throughout the year, everyday people can go and learn this stuff too. It's not just for the licensed professionals that need the continuing education, because everyone really needs this. If you're coaching a park and rec sports team, if you're a cashier at a gas station, you don't realize how many people you encounter each and every day, and just what those couple of seconds could mean,
Yeah, and we would love to this year, and Angie, like I said, is our community awareness educator, and we would love to hit those types of groups. We have opportunities to do trainings at no cost, to really give this information about early childhood trauma and how it impacts them. They can contact us at Refuge, and so...
Okay, perfect. We'll link that in an article, because the more we can talk about this and get you guys out there, why not?
Absolutely. Yes. And we got a specific grant for early childhood education, prevention, and treatment. And so we want to reach those, not just educators, daycare centers, but people who are coaching Little League, T-ball teams, have tumbling classes.
Well, and those are the ones you kind of see having these issues the most, because a lot of those, especially park and rec children that are younger, come from, maybe lower income families that have a lot going on. And you just never, because that's my experience, just me personally going and coaching all the stuff I've done is, just the middle school side of things, and going, all right, you got to tone it down today, CJ, because there's about 13 people that are having a really bad day, and we need to figure out why. Just things like that could help help so much and keep those relationships strong.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you.
Sure.
This is 9 to 4 p.m. So when's lunch?
Noon to 1.
Oh, and there's breakfast. You guys are taking care of everybody today. How about that? Yeah. So if before the training session starts at 8:30 a.m. until 9 a.m., I do have notes. I'm not that good. Breakfast is available and lunch for $5 a piece, or just all. Okay, really?
All together.
Wait, what?
Yes. Right.
How about, Jesus, I just want to go for the lunch. Well, what a great opportunity. And now this is going to be on January the 11th, which, is that a Saturday?
That's this Saturday.
Saturday.
Gosh, dang. Yeah, it's this Saturday. Man, I'm getting back into work and the calendar's kind of hit me in the mouth here.
Yeah.
But what a great opportunity. And really, no matter who you are, be a part of this. It's a $25 registration fee. It covers you and your team. So what is...
So if you're at a church, if you are affiliated with a church and you want to send your children's pastors, youth pastors, anyone really from that church, $25, you can send them all.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys really want people just to learn here. I mean, I'm not being funny, but you see that sometimes on these training sessions where it gets kind of costly. And what a really cool thing. And now take me through the partnership here with the church and Refuge. How did this happen?
Yes.
Well, it's bigger than me.
Yes.
They've been connected for a long time.
Yeah, so one of the things whenever we launched Refuge, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, but 10 years we've been serving clients this year, we knew that we had to reach educators. We had to reach the faith-based community. We had to reach the local, like Boys and Girls Clubs and different things where kids were. And I've always said, I want everyone to understand and know about trauma and how it impacts children so that we can do just what Pastor said, look beyond the behavior. And the faith-based community in particular is really close to my heart, because I'm connected to the faith-based community. I'm part of the faith-based community as a whole, and I feel like sometimes the church doesn't have the opportunity to really have this type of information presented.
I agree.
And the more we can empower church leaders and people working with kids with truth of how trauma truly impacts these children and how we can best care for them, it's just going to strengthen those children.
Well, and see, that's such a just that alone, because that's some honesty that not a lot of people really have that conversation with, and that's just realism, and to really break down that kind of barrier and these, maybe stigmatisms or stereotypes, whatever you want to call them, it's time to really have these open and really honest conversations, because you really, and Erin, you know this better than I do, obviously, it's just my thoughts, how many times do you meet that person that's just not very approachable, that just as people call them, or her, whoever it is, just, man, you can't even get along with that person. You can't even talk to them. Well, as an adult, you start to realize, well, there's probably a reason for that. And you can even, and not to understand and become best friends with that person, but just to respect what their life is a little bit more,
Yeah, and meet people where they're at. And I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe in what the church stands for. I also know that we've got to go, I don't want to say beyond that, because I think that that's the end all answer. Right. But we've got to know that it's deeper than just, let's pray for that child.
Well, and that's the thing, because at the end of the day, whatever happens, are we doing enough? And if you can answer yes, then that's great. And if you can't answer yes, then do it until you can, And
I just want to say this. I am so incredibly impressed with, the Bethalto Church of God is one of them. Abundant Life and Alton is another one. They're good people too, and I'm not just trying to shirt out churches. There's dozens. Sure. But at the hunger that they have for really wanting to understand how to best love and reach these children.
Well, and that's such a good point, Erin. And you know, Jacob and Joey, this New Year's coming around, is here, and things are rocking and rolling, and families are getting ready to go back to school whenever school is good enough to go to. But Bethalto Church of God, I'm sure, is open for new parishioners, new individuals that maybe want to find that place to go. Take me through a little bit of what Bethalto Church of God's all about, some of your guys' ways that, you practice your worship, and what folks can expect.
Yeah, so Bethalto Church of God, we are a church that's committed to, reaching the whole family. So from, the littlest child to the senior citizen and everybody in between, we have something for everyone at our church. And, it's really our mission to, to Erin's point, meet them where they are, but recognize that where they are is not where they have to stay, that God can change them through the ministries of the church, through the worship services, through the youth ministries, children's ministries. So we have highly effective, children's ministry from newborn through 5th grade.
Doing a good job.
And then Pastor, and then Pastor Joey.
Oh, sorry, different guy. Well, he's doing, he or she's doing a good job. I was giving him more credit.
Yeah, Pastor Ben's doing a great job. And then Joey kind of picks up with our sixth grade through high school, and then we have young adult ministry and men's ministry and women's ministry. And so on Sundays we gather at 8:30 and 10:30, and then our midweek services are on Wednesday night at 6:30.
Really cool. And now, what's the Facebook website? What way can we learn more about just the church overall?
Yeah, so bcog.cc is our website.
Okay.
And that's how they can register for this conference if they'd like to attend. We would, prefer pre-registration just so we can make sure we have enough materials for everyone and enough lunch ordered in.
With a $5 lunch, I'm telling you, that is like, you are good luck going to McDonald's and finding
tell them what the lunch is?
Oh, yeah. Come on. Hold on. This is I'm nosy. What are we having?
It's Chick-fil-A.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes.
For
Chick-fil-A.
$5.
That's right.
All right, John.
I know, why wouldn't you
Hold on, let me talk to my boss here. I think that we can get a team training session going on now.
But also you can find us on Facebook at Bethalto Church of God.
Do you guys stream any services?
We do. Yes. So we stream our 10:30 service on Sunday morning.
I think that's a great way for people to get a gauge, before they go in, because sometimes that's a little alarming for folks, especially if they're new to the area, to make that step in. And really cool that you guys are open like that. And now fill me in on some of the youth stuff that we're working on.
Man, we've got a great youth program. I deal with just the teenagers that are middle school up to high school. We do a transportation ministry, but we reach out not just to the teens.
What's transportation ministry?
We go out and we pick up kids that can't come to church on their own. So kids that want to come but don't have parents that necessarily are involved.
That's really cool.
And we do that for our kids and for our teens. It's a big part of what we do, and that's part of what led us to try to be involved with this. Is we want to give that resource to our leaders to help reach those kids. And so, we are great. Every Wednesday night we have youth service. Every Sunday we have kids church. We have something going on at both services, and so we've got plenty of opportunities for kids to get involved and just looking to reach them where they are.
What are some of the activities and some of the things?
Well, one of the things we just had a late night hangout. We hung out from like 7 to midnight, and we had a volleyball tournament in our gym. So it just various things. We've had a pizza Olympics before. We have water days. We do it all, but we're not just about the fun too. We want kids to have a true spiritual encounter and see something that's going to change them, right?
Well, and I think for parents though, because it's not even just the religious side of things, and I think that's great. I'm someone who practices my faith, but it's just the fact that there's not a lot of places where kids can go and truly be safe anymore in today's age. And I'm not trying to be the media guy that scares you, but I mean, you see these things that happen at parks and all these things, and just to know that if you're a part of a group that's practicing, it doesn't have to be word for word what the gospel you want them to hear, but just the way to live life in that group setting and being safe. What parent wouldn't want that? I mean, that's just kind of my takeaway on it. Yeah, this is great. You guys are doing some good stuff. Erin, you made a good call on your host. And now, are you guys going to do more services or like this together throughout the year, or more sessions? Am I putting him on the hot sheet?
We're definitely talking about it. Yeah, we were just talking about that. So we will look to keep it on the schedule.
How many participants are able to come? Is it limited to numbers?
I don't think we're necessarily limited. I think we should be fine.
Just need to know how much Chick-fil-A is coming.
Just try to order the Chick-fil-A.
Yes, register, please.
Please register.
There is a QR code to register at. Is there a physical website too?
Yeah, so if you go on our website, bcog.cc, you can find the flyer there and click on that QR code. It will take you directly to the registration.
Sorry, I type like an old person. I go, hold on here. Found it. So all you do is go right there, and now I just like to walk through
through it with the folks online if we can. Let's go picture in picture. Yeah, I'm not wearing a collared shirt today, but it's still a suit shirt. I promise. I got it from the same catalog section at Penny's. Anyway, go to bcog.cc/events, or just go to the homepage, click on the events tab, and then click on this flyer. It'll take you right there. Man, my eyes are getting bad, folks. Oh my goodness. And you put your first and last name in, fill out all the information, church name, how many attending, hit submit. You are good to go and ready to go and learn from Erin, Angie, and be a part of Bethalto Church of God for this really great trauma training session. With that being said, what else should we talk about today? Anything else to get out about this event?
I think that's all we got.
I think that take the opportunity to sign up. If you are interested, come and join us. If you hate it, I guess you can leave. But get there. You won't want to leave.
And then once again, Bethalto Church of God, walking in power, living out love. What's the Facebook page? Is it just Bethalto Church of God?
Yes.
Okay, and that's Bethalto Church of God, and that's at 800 East Bethalto Drive, and that would be in Wood River. No, in Bethalto.
Yeah, we're right at the corner of 140 and Moreland Road, so it's very easy to find.
Oh, you're at the big intersection, so you're making it easy for folks.
Yeah, you can't miss us. We're right there.
Can't miss us, yeah.
With that being said, we'll take a quick break. Thanks for a great interview.
Thank you, CJ.
And 10:43, we'll come back with more Daily Show right after this one on this cold Tuesday morning in the heart of the 618.
Ready for